All right, YouTube viewers, subscribers, friends, fans, family. Welcome to Every Unit Explained Protoss Edition. I am Promethium, and this is your updated guide for every Protoss unit, every Protoss building, and every Protoss upgrade 2021 August. There were some changes about a year and a half ago. So this is definitely an overdue guide. But here we go. Give me about 15 to 20 minutes and we're going to talk about everything Protoss. If I miss anything, please leave it in the comments below. Like, subscribe, follow, do all the YouTube things. All right. As Protoss, this is what you start with: the Nexus and a bunch of probes. And that's about it. The Nexus, you can build probes at, just like Terran production. You can also build a mothership, but you can only build one mothership. But this is like a tier 3 endgame unit, so I'm skipping ahead. I shouldn't go there. What's the first thing you build? You build a pylon. Pylons power every building. Every building must be built within the radius of the pylon. That's why you see these glowing rings, these lovely rings around the pylons. The only things is that you can't build, or that you can build outside of a pylon range, is a Nexus and an assimilator. And another pylon, obviously. The tier 1 units for Protoss come out of these gateways. They are the Zealot, the Sentry, the Stalker, and the Adept. Zealots are the only thing you can build if you only have no cyber core. These are the cyber cores right here next to it. Once you build the cyber core, you can build sentries, stalkers, and adepts. And once you build a Templar archives right here, then you can build High Templar. And once you build a dark shrine, you can build Dark Templar. Cool, right? Following me? Good. This is the Twilight Council. You have a research charge for the Zealots. They move faster and they can just charge into battle quicker. It used to do damage instantly. It no longer does damage instantly. So we're going to research that. We have Blink for Stalkers at the Twilight Council. Allow Stalkers to teleport to nearby target location. Cool. And we have Resonating Glaives for the Adepts. This is a good upgrade in your Protoss versus Zerg matchups. Adepts are great against Zerglings, and in an early Adept rush versus Zerg, you see this in pro matches once in a while. I saw a couple today in DreamHack Fall. Increases attack speed of Adepts by 45%. That's a big jump. It's a big jump. So those are your tier 1 upgrade building kind of things. And from the Nexus, you have these abilities. Chrono Boost. Chrono Boost 50 energy. Places target structure in a Chrono Boost, causing it to operate 50% faster for 20 seconds. Cool. We're going to Chrono Boost these upgrades so they go a little bit faster. Awesome. Also at the Nexus, abilities you have are Strategic Recall. Cooldown of 130 seconds and cost 50 energy. Recalls all units owned by the player in the target area to the Nexus. So let's go ahead and hit recall, and let's recall these Zealots. Cool. They were in a fight somewhere. We're going to lose the fight. Maybe we can recall and get the heck out of there. Cool. By the way, they do have charge now, so they are super fast dudes. Cool. All right, we'll get to the units later. We're talking about tier 1 buildings and upgrades right now for the time being. Also in the Nexus, we have Battery Overcharge. I personally have never cast this spell yet because I am a Terran player, but this makes shield batteries overcharge and increases its shield restoration rate by 100%, and allowing it to restore shields without consuming energy for 14 seconds. Okay, so first of all, a shield battery recharges a Protoss unit's shields while it's being attacked. So if you didn't know, a Protoss unit, it has hit points down here in the green, 200 out of 200 for this immortal. It also has shields, 100 out of 100 right there. If it takes damage, it's going to take damage from the shields first, and then its hit points. But the shields will regenerate once it's out of battle. So let's damage this dude right here. He's at 100 shields. Cool. Attack, attack, attack. And you can actually see this shield battery healing him. And the shield battery ran out of energy. So now that damage and recharge. So he is regenerating shields on his own, and the shield battery is also regenerating his shields. Once you break into hit points, though, there's no healing Protoss units. Once you get into the hit points there, he will always be 43 out of 200, although his shields do start to regenerate. And he's at 50 out of 100. Cool. So every Protoss unit has shields and hit points. They're not always equal, though. Like this one's 100 and 200. A Stalker is 80 and 80. A Zealot is 50 and 100. Adepts are 70, 70. Dark Templar, 80, 40. So they really are different, especially Archons. Archons are like all energy. They are all shields. So 350 shields and 10 hit points of health. That's crazy, right? Anyway, point being, shields. Cool. All right. I think we're done with that. Let's move on to the actual tier 1 units. Okay, what do we have here? From the gateway, we have Zealots. Powerful melee warrior. Cool. Can attack ground units only. Like hand-to-hand combat. Cool. Sentries. Sentries are energy manipulator unit. Ooh. Can use force field, guardian shield, and hallucination. Can attack ground and air units, but it doesn't do a lot of damage, so don't make sentries and think you're gonna win a fight. Alright, let's talk about sentries. Zealots, cool. They just attack in and, you know, they charge. Sentries. Little balls of light, right? So we've got force fields. So you got a bunch of Zerglings and Banelings that are coming up the ramp, and now they can only fight against that. Cool. Awesome. Guardian Shield is excellent against Roaches, Hydras, Bio, Marines, Marauders. Creates a range of 4.5 aura that reduces incoming range damage to friendly units by 2. Last 11 seconds. By 2. Okay, so it reduces damage by 2. An unupgraded Marine shoots 6 damage per shot. So you're reducing a Marine's damage by 33% by activating a Guardian Shield to every single unit within this range. So yeah, not bad. Not bad. And then hallucination. Creates hallucinations that cannot use active abilities, cannot deal damage, and die more easily. Hallucinations last 43 seconds. Enemy detectors reveal hallucinations. So you can hallucinate any unit you want. 99% of the time, people hallucinate Phoenix, and they go across the map and scout. Because it's a fast unit, it's an air unit, it sees everything. It will take like Widowmine damage too. Yeah, sentries, great for scouting. They are gas intensive, so they are expensive in the early game. Hallucinated void rays, woo. Cool, sentries. Damage. They do 6 damage, but they do it very, very slowly. I don't think I've ever seen a sentry actually kill one of my units. They may contribute some damage to it, but its range is only 5. Damage is only 6. And they shoot slowly. So it's just a spellcaster. Early game spellcaster. Not bad though. Okay, back to the gateway. We have Stalkers. Can attack ground and air units. Ranged support Strider. Who reads these? Wow, ranged support Strider. Who wrote that? Anyway, here's your Stalkers. They have blink now. They can blink. Cooldown is 7 seconds. Not bad. So you run around, blink from high ground to low ground. If you have vision, you can blink from the low ground to the high ground. But yeah, they are armored, and they are mechanical. So down here in the center console thing, you have Stalker, kills, rank. Rank is insignificant. Armor for shields, and then how much damage they do. And then you have these special tags down here. They're armored and mechanical. So, if you look at his attack, he does 13 damage, but versus other armored units, he does 18. So these special tags down here definitely are a factor when considering what counters what. So a Marauder does bonus damage to armored. So a Marauder versus a Stalker is kind of a fair fight, but I think a Marauder is way better. But yeah, you just have to consider these tags down here. They're armored and mechanical. So they take extra damage from landed Vikings too, interestingly. But yeah, there's your Stalkers. Blinky blinky. Everyone has probably seen Stalkers if you've ever seen a pro game. Very common unit. They shoot air and ground. Yeah. And then we have Adepts. Adepts are early game units. They're only ground to ground. They can only shoot ground to ground. And now that they have are these Stalkers shooting stuff? They are. They're shooting a gateway. Weird. They shoot slowly, but once you have that glaives, they shoot a little bit faster. They do have a kind of a teleport ability called Shade. So this one could be still doing damage, but once this Shade finishes... Oh, no, I'm over here. Cool. Neat little trick there, especially against Zerg players. You get a ton of Adepts, and they can shade around the map, back and forth between mineral lines. Very annoying for a Zerg player. They do 10 damage and 22 versus light. So that is your Marine. That is your Zergling. That is your Zealot. So light units. Yeah, you can build Adepts against light units and they will do pretty damn well. They 2-shot Marines. They 2-shot SCVs. Actually, I think they 3-shot SCVs. But I know they 2-shot drones and probes. Yeah, that's your Depths. What else we have here? High Templar. By the way, I'm going to research Gateway, or Warp Gate right now, at the Cyber Core. This is a nearly mandatory upgrade, which allows you to warp in gateway units anywhere that there's a pylon or a warp prism. So we're going to research that. We'll chrono boost it. Anyway, back to High Templar though. We've got these guys. Another spellcaster, Swiss Army knife, very good against light units. They have feedback, drains all energy from the target, and deals 0.5 damage per point of energy. So what are you going to feedback? You're going to feedback medevacs, you're going to feedback vipers, you're going to feedback ravens, you're going to feedback sentries, maybe oracles, anything with energy, any spellcaster, infestors. Cool. Feedback. Used quite often in pro games. Late game. This is definitely a tier 3 unit. They also have Psionic Storm. Creates a storm of psionic energy that lasts 3 seconds, causing up to 80 damage to all units in the target area. It does not stack. You can't just go storm and 160 damage. But yeah, storm is quite devastating. It will just kill Marines. It will nearly kill Marauders. I think Marauders are 125 health, so it'll get them down to about 30 or 20 or 30% health. But yeah, let's research storm there at the Templar Archives. By the way, Warp Gate just finished and turned all my gateways into Warp Gates. So now I can hit W, hit Z, and click, 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 click. But we're maxed. And that's how you warp in units. Cool. I'm not going to talk too much of Warp Gate, but it is essential to get Warp Gate figured out. Cool. Storm is almost done, so we can talk about the other gateway unit. Actually, let's talk about Archons. So you can take 2 High Templars or 2 Dark Templars and make an Archon. Sacrifices 2 Templar to create an Archon. Doesn't cost any minerals, any gas, or supply, or additional supply. They morph in and they make Archons. Boom. Here you go. Archons. Definitely a tier 3 unit. Base damage is 25 and 35 versus biological. So that's your Zerglings. Every Zerg unit. Many Terran units. And a few Protoss units. What's biological? An Adept. A High Templar. Zealot. And a Dark Templar. I think that's about it. Yeah, Archons are kind of scary. Pretty chunky. They're weak against... They do a little bit of splash damage, too. The range is not long. Range is only 3. Yeah, just blast. Anyway, Archons. Not bad. Again, morphing from 2 High Templars or 2 Dark Templars. Yeah. We can go to Dark Templars now. They are permanently cloaked. They do have Shadow Stride, much like the Stalkers. Allows Dark Templars to teleport to a nearby target location. Pretty scary. Yeah, permanently cloaked, high damage. What is it, like 45 damage per swipe? Yes, 45. So they just killed that shield battery very quickly. Yeah, if you don't see these coming, you're already dead. Yeah, permanently cloaked, and high damage. Scary stuff. Okay, that is about it for gateway units. Yeah, gateways, warp gate, and from the warp prism, which you make at the Robo facility, that is what you can warp in additional units with. If, let's see, we need to free up some supplies so we can warp in units. Right, gateway units are pretty much done. We get this, right? Who's gonna win? Definitely the Archon, right? Oh no, a Dark Templar is gonna win. Oh yeah. Sorry, dude. Buy gateway units. Cool. Darkness descends. Okay, so we're freeing up supplies so we can make more units, but anyway, hit W, Z, and you're under the warp prism. Cool. Units can also be loaded into the warp prism. We can fly away and drop units. Ooh, look. Stargate units. And attack. Cool. Ooh, sneak preview. Alright, so we have gateway units, and then we go to robo units. Robo units consist of observers, which are flying spy. That's the description. Flying spy. Cloak renders the unit invisible to enemies without detection. What does an observer look like? These guys. These guys. They're cloaked permanently as well, and they just show you stuff. They can go into surveillance mode and give you a little bit wider range. 25% wider vision, but it becomes immobile, which is a benefit, actually. Because people used to F2 A move, and then they'd lose their observers to silly things. Or they'd lose a vision of maybe a drop path or something. Anyway, Warp Prism, we already talked about. Immortals. Immortals are right here. Chunky boys, ground-to-ground guys. Damage is 20, and versus armored 50. 50 damage. That's a big chunk. That's a big boom. Big boom. So they're very good against stalkers, other immortals, tanks, roaches, ultralisks. Every single building in the game is armored. So 50 damage per building. They do have a special automatic ability called Barrier. Absorbs up to 100 damage. Lasts for 2 seconds. This effect can only occur once every 32 seconds. So it's almost as if he's 200 shields for 2 seconds as soon as he takes his initial hit. You can see the barrier kind of glow when it's active. Yeah. And now it's on cooldown. Cool. And that's why it takes a long time sometimes to shoot down immortals. They do a lot of damage and they got a lot of health. Pretty chunky. The minerals have up and gone. Do I have other music on? No, I don't think so. Anyway. More robo units. We have Colossus, everyone's favorite if you play Bio. It is a ground-to-ground unit, but it can walk down cliffs, and it shoots laser beams, and it does splash damage. 10 damage and 15 versus light. 15 versus light isn't a lot, but it shoots pretty fast. And the range of splash damage is pretty high. Yeah, they are so tall that Vikings and Corruptors and things that shoot air to air can shoot them. No other really special abilities except for Cliff Walk, yeah, because they're just big, tall drafts. Moo. They're pretty cool, but I don't like them. They're just big, huge stalkers, right? Where are their lasers actually coming from? Oh, yeah, right there. Okay. Their little beaks. He's shooting his feet. Ah, my toes. Ow. 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 Anyway. All right, Colossus. They're good against Zerglings and Marines, biological units. Lastly, out of the robotics facility, we have disruptors. Robotic disruption unit can use Purification Nova to deal heavy area damage. Yes. Yes, they can. Here it is. What does it do? Shoots out a ball of energy that lasts 2 seconds and emits a powerful nova dealing 145 splash damage and an additional 55 shield damage to nearby ground units and structures. The disruptor is immobile while this is active. So let's say we have a bunch of poor Marines or Zealots or Immortals right here. All right, place your bets. Do you think everything will die right here with one ball? V, click. Balls. Here's another ball. Okay, cool. The cooldown is... What is the cooldown? 13 more seconds. Cooldown is 21 seconds per ball. And if you click on the unit, you can see its range that the ball will travel. So if you have a hard time gauging whether or not it's going to hit something, it will just barely be able to hit that fleet beacon. 1, 2, boom, did it. Even further away. It only shoots ground or damages ground units, but you get 6 of these up. Oof, it's hard to attack into because they can just shoot and shoot and shoot. Yeah, disruptors are scary. Those are your robotics facility units. Here's your robotics bay, where you upgrade things that come out of this building. We have gravitic boosters making observers faster. We have gravitic drive, which makes warp prisms faster. And we have extended thermal lance, which increases the attack range of the Colossus by 2. Cool. Those are self-explanatory. We don't need to show those. Let's move on to everybody's favorite, the Stargate. What do we have here? We've got Phoenix, air-to-air fighter, Oracle, flying spellcaster, Void Rays, which description says surgical strike craft, and Tempest, siege artillery craft, attacks from long range, and careers, capital ship, can build and launch interceptors to make attacks. Cool. What does all that mean? Well, here's your Phoenix. They're fast. They're nimble. They shoot air to air. They can shoot while, or they can move while they're shooting. If I had a real enemy unit, you would be able to see that. And they have a thingy that allows you to pick up ground units. So that now, if you have 2 Phoenix or more, one of them can pick him up, and the other one can shoot him. How long does that last? 7 seconds. And it costs 50 energy from the Phoenix. Cool. Pick him up. Pick him up. Pick up. Get them both up. And you can't move while you're doing that. You could hit cancel and just drop them, but a ton of Phoenix can just come on into a drone line and pretty well annihilate a mineral line of workers. Not too bad. They cannot pick up massive units like Colossus or Ultralisks or Thors. They can pick up tanks though. Cool. Those are the Phoenix. Oracles. They're your Stargate spellcaster. They have Revelation, gives you detection of a target area and will show you the target item or unit that you reveal. They have Stasis Ward. Places a cloak stasis ward at the target location that lasts 170 seconds. Once activated by an enemy unit, the ward traps enemies in the stasis for 21 seconds. So it freezes units that run into it. Ground units only. That's cool. So let's say you have a big ball of Marines that run into this thing, freezes about half of them, and now you can come in with 4 stalkers and kill half the army while the other half is frozen, and then the other half unfreezes, and then you can kill that half when the whole army of Marines may have killed you. So yeah, Stasis Ward can cut armies in half basically temporarily. And then you have Pulsar Beam. Charges the Oracle's Pulsar Beam, which is its like actual attack ability, and allows it to attack enemy ground units. Cool, activated. And it does 15 damage and 22 versus light. So it's good against Marines and Zerglings and workers. That's usually what it's used for, is workers. So cool. Pulsar Beam. Oracles. Usually an early game scouting unit. Maybe a late game unit for the Revelation in a Protoss versus Zerg matchup. But usually very useful. Swiss Army knife right there. Cool. Let's move on to Void Rays. Void Rays got a huge buff about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago. It was a triple buff. They reduced the cost to make them. They're only 200 and 150. They made them faster by default. They're just faster. And they reduced the build time, made them faster, and made them cheaper. So it's like a triple buff. It's like, oh, wow, that's amazing. What else can we do to make it better? What if we give them an upgrade in the fleet beacon that makes them super fast? Increases the speed and acceleration of the Void Ray. Yes. Let's make it only 100 100 too. Yes. Oh my god, Void Rays are gonna be so good. Can we just go on patrol here and watch how fast they move once we have this done? Okay, normal Void Ray speed. Flux Vein's almost done. Done. Let's chrono boost that one more time. Okay, here we go. Upgrade is done. Finished learning. They don't look all that much faster, but they are. Trust me. Yeah. Oh, especially the acceleration. They can go from stopped to fast very quickly. They do bonus damage versus armored, and they also have an extra prismatic alignment, realigns the void, whatever, plus 6 damage versus armored. So more damage versus armored while they do this thing, basically. Cool. Lasers from the air. It's very popular for Protoss units to build Stargates in proximity of your base and just fly in Void Rays and pick off what they can. It's really fun. It's really fun. Not salty at all. Not. I haven't died to that many times. Anyway. Tempests. These are massive, so they take bonus damage. They're armored, mechanical, and massive. They take bonus damage from things like Corruptors and Thors and other Tempests. So the Tempest has 2 attacks. This is the air-to-air one that is 30 damage and 52 damage versus air, massive air. And then his air-to-ground attack is just 40, plain 40. Yeah, the range on it is insane. It is 10 and 14. Its air-to-air attack is 14. So it can attack from, a galaxy away. And just murdered that Colossus, by the way. Holy cow. Wow. That's pretty good. The other massive unit out of the Stargate is the Carrier. It does not have an attack, but its interceptors attack. It has 8 interceptors. They launch out, and they do 5 damage each per 2 attacks and 8 range, basically. But yeah, so it can move around while the interceptors are doing all the damage. They're very expensive. A lot of health on them, 450. So if you get like 6 to 10 carriers, it's kind of like game over in many situations. They're pretty weak against a lot of Marines and Thors if the Thors are shooting straight at them. They're weak against Corruptors. They're weak against a lot of Hydralisks. And I guess they're weak against Stalkers. bunch of stalkers can do bonus damage to armored, and they can just kind of blink, close the distance, and then get underneath your carriers and attack them. So yeah, I'm not too scared of carriers as long as I see them coming and they don't get a huge amount of carriers out. But yeah, I think we're nearly done with the video. We've covered all the Stargate units. We've covered all the Robo units. We've covered all the Gateway units. We've covered all the upgrades. I mean, all the unit upgrades. The Cyber Core is where you upgrade air, weapons, and armor. Let's do one of each here and there and chrono boost them. So Cyber Core is where you upgrade air units, attack, and armor. The Forge down here is where you upgrade ground weapons, ground armor, and then shields for ground and air units. So these are much more expensive than just the base armor ones. And since a lot of units don't have equal shields and hit points, most people don't get the shields upgrades until late game. Like a Phoenix only has 60 shields and 120 armor, or 120 actual hit points. So which upgrade is more valuable? It's just going to be the base armor one, not the shields. But yeah, so those are the forges. They allow you to build photon cannons, which everyone's been cannon rushed before. Good early defense, early static defense. They are detectors as well, so this will counter banshees and dark Templar and lurkers, and actually they don't counter lurkers. Lurkers can still kill shit. It doesn't matter. Other buildings. We already talked about shield batteries. We've talked about cannons. I think that covers everything. I did not go into particular compositions and combinations and strategies. This is just every unit explained and every building explained. If I've missed anything, I'm sorry. And we'll cover it in the comments below. But thanks for watching. Check out my Zerg every unit explained video, and Terran every unit explained video, and we'll see you next time.